On today's video, King Talib is going down from 174 million power all the way down to 52. That is right. He got zeroed by 4 or 5 different alliances, crazy amounts of rallies. We have a bunch of the footage in here. We also have a full big statement on exactly how we got to this situation, the whole backstory and context to this point in time. I'm also going to give you guys a few tips for you to be able to not only zero someone like King Talib if you want to, but to be able to zero and coordinate multiple rallies, a bunch of very useful tips you don't want to miss out in this video. So stick around, smash a like on the video, and let's start. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to the Gekko. Today you see those frowny faces. That is one of 3 rallies smacking into King Talib, who is right now at about 120 some million power. Yes, a 3 rally setup on 120 million tier 5 player. Before we talk about everything that has to do with how these guys did this, what were the results, and show you guys a bunch of rallies and a bunch of reports and a bunch of scouts reports and all that good stuff, I want to read to you guys a statement that was sent to me by an individual who is very much into everything that happened. He is part of the kingdom that King Talib is in, and he is very deep within that kingdom. I will not reveal who he is because of this current situation with King Talib, which we'll talk about later on. Let me read to you guys what he told me. This is all the context that led to this point in time. In short, our kingdom started at the bottom left of Lost Kingdom. Kingdom 110 were right above us, but we're to our right, but hey, they were kind of weak and they never made it out of zone 1. And to our north were Kingdom 112, and those guys turned out to be not only amazing fighters, but they also had something like 10 more tier 5 players than our kingdom did. We decided to pair up with Kingdom 105 and 106 because we wanted to split their forces. Kingdom 112 went our way, and due to some tactical mistakes as well as being overpowered, they pushed us back all the way to our zone 3, or 4 essentially, completely. At this point, Talib hadn't interfered in any diplomatic things or politics whatsoever, and we were fine because we knew that Kingdom 112, no matter their size, won't be able to fight 3 kingdoms once Zone 3 opens up. 112, on the other hand, tried to expand to the north and fought 105 and 106 before Zone 3 in Lost Kingdom, which would be Zone 5, opened up. That turned out to be a huge mistake for them because due to the fact that they fought with us and it was a tough fight, they won, but it was a very hard win, and they were weaker than they were when they started fighting against us and simply ran out of speed ups and resources. We managed to break out of our zone 4 before zone 6 opened up and pushed back Kingdom 112 all the way from our zone 5, locked them up, and actually started to look better. Our position went from really bad into very bad, but still better. Then disaster struck as Talib went on to interfere with diplomacy. He made an agreement with Kingdom 108 without the rest of leadership knowing. From that moment, he threatened to zero everyone who didn't follow his lead and made sure that PFB, one of the 4 fighting alliances, would not participate in any fights. In other words, we were effed. Because after 250 days of playing with him, we didn't really get to know him at all and didn't even know how to approach him. So what happened was this. We were allowed to take the ziggurat first. Hooray. Apparently, Talib got greedy and demanded other things by himself in a non-diplomatic way. And that is not what you should do with allies who haven't been fighting all of KVK, so they have boatloads of resources and speed ups, have all the buffs maxed out, and still have plenty of fighting in them. We got pushed back, and Talib, still suffering from his own god complex, went to sleep next to an almost burned out central fortress. Well, we've all seen the result, and King Talib was zeroed. On top of that, when he logged in, he disbanded PFB, destroying everything people had built for 250 long days. So that is the situation as it happened. Now, it turns out that when King Talib fell asleep, or apparently was in a meeting with the king, or there's a bunch of different explanations, but this guy says that he went to sleep. We'll go with that for now. When he went MIA from the game, the central fortress burned, and the alliances fighting him went on to ensure that they clean off the flags from the nearby vicinity from this kingdom, so nobody could port close and try to help and reinforce. They made sure also, as you can see, the whole area is full of marches, so making your way to help King Talib was really not an option. And even then, for the longest time, he did have reinforcements in his castle, which I don't think you see in the scout report that I have here, but he definitely had a good amount of reinforcements for at least a couple of the rallies. Now let me show you guys here how many resources this guy had available. 3.1 billion wood, damn. And as you can see, that's the amount of troops he has. Divide that by 2. He was using that deceiving count thingy where his troops are doubled. He has about 10 million tier 5s, about 10 million tier 5s, and you can see he's 9th place with 174 million power and about 316 million kills. This was updated relatively recently, and at this point of the video, he was already down to 118 million power, 13 million deads, and 361 million kills. And I need you guys to remember this. Remember that this guy started at some point, had 174 million power and 316 million kills. And I can confirm to you that that list is relatively new, because I saw, for example, that King of Armenia is above the 200 million, which is something that happened relatively recent, and so did Solomar's push to 300 mil. So that list is fairly actual, and this guy's already at 361 million kills and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. How was this done? That is the real question. This was done by multiple rallies and millions of losses. When you go out to fight a kraken, a megalodon, a whale, whatever you're fighting, the game is not about whether or not you can zero them, but how much will it actually cost you. Every and any one can be zeroed, including our friend Solomar from White Tigers, who would cost boatloads to zero, but he can be zeroed as well. He can. It doesn't mean that it'll happen, but it is a possibility. The way this is done is by coordinating multiple rallies and making a few less mistakes than these guys did. And they did manage to zero Talib out at the end of the day, but they took massive losses that they could have avoided by following some very simple tips and advice that I'm about to give to you guys. So if you ever find yourself in a position where you want to zero a 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 million power player, using these tips, you will more than certainly diminish the amounts of losses you take and for sure manage to get the job done. Now, these guys got the job done, but I'm about to show you guys a rally report in a moment. And that thing hurt. It hurt bad. So we are looking right now at a double rally going on, and what we kept seeing as a very common thing, you're seeing it right there happening on the screen. A third rally is marching its way to King Talib as he's down to 111 million power, and these rallies were not hitting at the same time, which means before we did say all that, look at that. 10 million troops on his side and 1 million deads on the offensive side, and that is one rally. One rally with over 1 million dead hitting that damn city. Now let me explain to you why this was such a big issue. When you send one rally to attack King Talib, as long as that rally is full, it's doing the most damage it can do. But when you have two rallies hitting, now you're doubling up the damage. You're making sure that you're cutting off troops faster and therefore taking less damage. The problem is, how do you time your rallies in a way that you can for sure make sure they all hit kind of at the same time, and so they help each other diminish their losses? The way you can do that is with a timer march. A timer march is an individual who sacrifices their part of the rally to port as far as they can from the rally, about, I don't know, 200, 300, 400 kilometers away. And then they join that rally with one slowest of the troops, so one infantry, I guess. From there, you just wait and you leave that march be. Now, before you started your rally, it told you what's your march time to the target. you want to make sure that every single rally, as this guy's already down to 106 million power, every single rally, it knows what's their distance and how much time is in between them. And so what you do is that one siege infantry, whatever it is, that is miles and miles away, who's going to march for like 30 minutes, you're going to have every single rally set up like that. And then based on the distances, you start releasing the rallies by sending that one march back or kicking the individual, and therefore they're out of the rally, and therefore the rally insta marches. So you create a delayer timer, or a timer essentially. Every single rally needs to have one timer in it. If you know that one rally takes 2 minutes to march, the other rally takes a minute to march, you sync it. So the one rally that has 2 minutes marches for about 58, 59, 55 seconds, whatever it'll be. And once that time hits, the second rally lets go of their timer, and now they're gonna hit at the same time. 103 million power and still going down. So first tip for you guys is a timer. You can use this to synchronize rallies on anything. You can synchronize rallies on fortresses, on flags, on buildings in Lost Kingdom, whatever you want. Use timers to synchronize your rallies. 368 million kills on this dude. He's already gained 7 million on this alone. Here's another rally report. I know it's a little shaky because it's a screenshot of a screenshot, but bear with me. This is what I could get into. 1.3 million deads on the offensive side against the 600k. I mean, oh my god, the amount of deaths these guys suffered, but they never stopped. So first tip for you guys, as I mentioned, was time your rallies. Have a timer on all the rallies. When everybody is waiting, you then, knowing what the march times are for every single person, you slowly and steadily let go of the timers one by one, synchronizing the attack. You don't want to reach a situation like the one you're seeing right here. When one rally is hitting, and it's been hitting for so long that you can see its bar is already down by at least like 20%, and only then the second rally is making it there. By that time, the first rally is already on yellow, is already suffering massive losses, and very soon, the second tip needs to be applied as the third march makes it in there. While that happens, second rally is already suffering. The second tip I have for you guys is do not let your rally go below 50%. If it's not being reinforced, cancel it. Letting the rally go down all the way to the end is just pure deaths. If there are 10 million troops, or you know what, let's not go that crazy. If there are 1 million troops in that thing that you're attacking, and now you're below the 1 million on your side, you're doing much less damage, you're causing much less damage, but the other guy is actually doing more and more and more damage because now he's taking less and he's inflicting about the same amount and just slowly and steadily cleaning you out. The rally at the bottom of this should have canceled already. It shouldn't continue. It shouldn't be at this stage. Now PFB are doing everything they can to send King Talib resources. I really don't understand why, considering he's actually being zeroed. So why are you giving him resources so they can get taken away? But anyway, let's not go into that. When you guys 96 million power and 369, almost 370 million kills, it's coming down. It's coming down fast, but the kills are racking up too. If you guys are going to rally, cancel the rally at the 50% mark. If you guys sync your rallies, everybody can cancel at the same time, and you rinse and repeat. If you have reinforcements happening, you have to make sure that if one rally cancels, everybody else cancels. So yes, even if your alliance reinforces continually, you still might have to cancel the rally not to suffer. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, the yellow marker on the bottom rally, the yellow HP, might not be reflective of what there is in that rally. And you can see these guys burn him, another burn, not the first one, another burn with 3 rallies. But that yellow HP bar doesn't represent what's actually in the rally. I've mentioned this plenty of times. Talib down to 93 million power, and he was above the 170. I can tell you that for a fact. Now, what can you do as his alliance? There's one of two things you can do. You reinforce or you don't. But regardless, if you reinforce, you have to keep reinforcing no matter what. And to be able to reinforce, you have to be in a position to be able to reinforce, which Talib didn't leave his alliance and the enemies didn't leave any room for help at all whatsoever. And so the rallies kept hitting, the massive losses kept piling on, And slowly and steadily, these rallies managed to hold on more and more. I mean, obviously, the rally that hit 10 million troops was chunked very quickly and took massive losses. But this rally that's hitting now 4 million troops is already doing much more damage and able to hold out against these amounts of troops and therefore do more damage. So slowly and steadily, there wasn't a need for triple or quad or whatever not rally, especially when you have alliances, which I don't know if this is their case. I'm not saying this is their case, but when you have certain alliances that don't necessarily have the manpower to continuously reinforce and create these rallies again and again and again. Look at this situation. How can anyone come in closer? All that blue is enemy area. It's nowhere near where Talib's alliance is. So you can see that in this stage, as I was mentioning, the rallies took a little bit longer to get done and get through, and they weren't really too coordinated. Again, at 90 some million power, you probably want to coordinate a 3 rally setup rather than a 1 by 1 by 1. It'll just hurt the rallies so much more. But again, these guys were seeing red. They didn't care at all. They saw the biggest zeroing in Rise of Kingdoms history being done by them, and they were willing to pay the price as a second rally makes his way again to hit King Talib. A top 10 power member of Rise of Kingdoms has been zeroed. But here's the thing. King Talib is someone that I got to meet making a video in his alliance at some point in time. I don't remember which video it was, to be honest with you guys. At some point in time, I was with him in his alliance. And one of the things you can say about him is that he is reckless. And reckless not necessarily in a good or in a bad way. There is a way someone gets to 370 million kills and 174 million troops and over 20 million deaths. And that is by being super active and potentially reckless. That stop fighting right there was for the solo marches hitting. If there's one more tip I need to add before continuing to talk about King Talib, is that the one thing I don't see happening here, which is very sad, is buffing commanders on the battlefield. Don't hit King Talib, who's down below the 90s now, but have 2 marches next to your rally fighting each other with like a Joan of Arc in them, with a what's her face, Cleopatra in it, so that when the skills proc, your rally within the vicinity gets a bit more buffs. I don't see that happening in here at all, and I did see more solo hits on this guy than there should be. This is, at this point, we're seeing 4 rallies hitting him, being that one of them has been hitting him for quite some time and 3 others haven't really, and now there's solos in here as well. Madness going on. King Talib is not necessarily someone who, you know, cried to sleep as he got zeroed. He's someone who, if he wants to, he has the means, ability, and willpower to rebuild and push on. And so we're going to see in a little bit where he landed when everything was done and done. I don't necessarily want to show you all the footage because we could be here for half an hour plus. This took like an hour, I think, to get done with the constant rallies happening. So you can't really see, I don't think seeing everything is really worth it, but you can see right now that Talib's HP bar is going down faster and faster with every time, as this time we're only seeing 1 rally hitting and the HP bar is going down fast. King Talib disbanded his alliance, and therefore the kingdom was lost in his kingdom. I mean, he was the king, and the king's title was gone, and his lost temple had nothing in it. And I think that what they did is they went back and they retook it. I think that was the thing. I don't really know how they fixed that situation, but think about what goes through a man's head when he disbands an alliance that hundreds of people worked on for months and months at a time. It wasn't something Kingdom 111 will ever forget, and I don't think it's something that Kingdom 111 will ever forgive either. But then again, when you have someone like that in your kingdom, unfortunately, it's better to have him on your side than against you, even if he had grieved you and caused you as much pain as he has caused his kingdom, as he's down to 80 million power in this last check we did. The final result of his zeroing was him, of course, disbanding and changing his name, and this is him right here. 52 million power and 378 million kills. He gained an astonishing 18 million kills from what we saw alone. But if you think this was the end of King Talib, you are very wrong. As of the recording of this video, there's a little bit of footage going on right now of a fight happening in that Lost Kingdom still, as the Alliance and Kingdom 111 SU are still trying to do whatever they can to hold on to some ground. But King Talib is back. King Talib is very much back, as you can see right there. He is very much back. He's very much rebuilding. And we will hear from him again soon. I'm the Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you like the content, make sure you slap a like on the video. Of course, subscribe to the stream. We're a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord all in the description down below. Discord over 1,150 members. Twitter over 200 followers. Thank you for following me on Twitter. I'm very active there as well, so go join me. Say hi. The Gekko TV is my name on Twitter. And I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, weekend, afternoon, whatever the heck time it is that you're watching this video. Peace.